This podcast doesn't exist. We don't exist. Can you be so sure that our subscribers exist? We only exist in the imagination of someone listening to the podcast. That was the introduction.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
That was good.
Yeah, I didn't want to exist anymore after watching this film, so.
You didn't like it?
Oh,
Well,
we'll get into it.
I'm ready to fucking argue with every single one of you, by the way. I hope you're ready. I'm going to crack my knuckles. So I'm really upset that you guys
Yay,
didn't like this.
Blake gets to be the one with bad taste this week instead of me.
I am not. Hi, everyone. We're Half a Clue Movie Review. I'm Blake.
I'm Ron. Hi.
We're back.
Yeah.
We took a long
Jason,
time off.
you
Way too
fucked
much
it up.
time
You're
off.
supposed to introduce yourself.
Yeah. How are they supposed to know who you are?
It's been so long.
Yeah.
All of our listeners look like Jared
I'm
Leto.
nobody. I'm Mr. Nobody.
You're Mr. Nobody? Okay.
Who are you?
I'm Jason.
Realistically,
you just said my. It doesn't
realistically, you are the one they would forget. So,
And I'm Miles.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, as you can see, we're a little bit out of practice on this.
it's been like a month. Sorry about
How
that.
make language speak? I don't know.
What movie? Or somebody asked me what movie we're watching. Well,
Hey,
normally
Blake.
I would ask the person what movie we're
No, hold on.
watching.
Just
I'm gonna
ask
you-
yourself.
No, Blake. I'm gonna ask you what movie we're watching, and then you can ask me to ask you.
Okay.
Blake, what movie are we watching?
I don't know. What movie are we watching?
I don't know. Nobody?
Mr. Nobody?
Yeah.
So we're watching.
Wait, we were supposed to watch Mr. Nobody? I just watched the Bob Odenkirk one.
Oh, well, you're
Probably had a
better
better
off.
time. Than
Yeah.
I like how,
probably.
this is like the third time I've heard you make this joke this week.
I know,
It just
I'm
gets
sorry.
funnier each time.
Well, it's the first time the audience was hearing it. But
Yes, the listeners.
No one's listening.
You're yeah. They don't exist. Remember, we don't exist.
Yeah. Oh, God.
Renee Descartes.
So-
So happy.
I picked this movie because I watched this movie the first time when I was 19, and it blew my fucking mind. I thought it was like one of the greatest movies I'd ever seen. I'm 30 now. I don't necessarily think it's like one of the greatest movies ever made or anything, but you know what? I still really like it, and I still really think it's a really, really cool movie. I think it's got a great concept. It's visually amazing. So I was excited to rewatch it, and I very much enjoyed my rewatch.
Okay, no need to hype it up so
Yeah.
much. You know?
And to be fair, I was in the same boat as you. Like, I watched it probably when I was like, 17, 18 maybe. I remember our buddy Sam had a DVD of it, and at the time you couldn't really get it in the US, so he had to buy like a French Canadian copy. So he let me borrow it, and I really liked it at the time, and then I forgot like everything about it. And I was excited to rewatch it, and it's okay. I don't know. It's not as good as I remember it being. That's for damn sure.
All right, well, let's
It's
go
like
around.
knockoff Cloud Atlas.
It was before Cloud Atlas.
Well, then it was a really shitty knockoff. And
remind me-
according to
it-
this film's interpretation of time, it flowed backwards. So it just knocked it off before.
Yeah, it's a knockoff butterfly effect. We
Yeah.
know this. We know this.
So what did you guys all think besides Jason? He went out of order.
Wait,
It's
hold on.
typically
Am
Ron
I
would-
going to do the history or no?
Oh, yeah, Ron.
Oh,
what's
right.
the,
Oh, yeah, then we'll get
what's the
into it.
fucking
Hey, I
history?
wrote a dissertation on this dumb movie. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm sorry, Blake. Okay, Mr. Nobody, 2009, directed by Belgian filmmaker Jaco van Dormel. I'm sure I'm saying that terribly wrong. Inspired by the idea of how small choices can have vast consequences, and he wanted to explore his concept of parallel universes. He was also fascinated by the idea of fate versus free will and how those forces play out in people's lives. This movie tells the story of Mr. Nobody, the last mortal on Earth, as he reflects on the infinite paths his life could have taken based on key choices. The nonlinear multi-timeline narrative explores themes of fate, free will, and the multiverse. Jared Leto portrays Nemo in various stages of life. Each
Nemo.
you think you can do these things, but you just can't, Nemo.
This movie came out before Finding Nemo?
No, it
Probably-
did
I
not.
know.
It came out before everything. It knew the past. It remembers the future. Each representing a different path. The film's ambitious structure demanded creative filming techniques, shifting between genres of bad and worse. No, I'm just kidding. No. Using distinct visual styles of each reality. Okay, so the production behind this is kind of interesting. They used a lot of different money from a lot of different countries. I think we like logged it up. Even at the beginning, it says like French, Canadian, German, Belgian. Like there's a lot of money that came
on
into this.
IMDb, I think there's like 7 countries listed.
Yeah, I saw the budget was like I got different like people saying different things. So somewhere between 44 million to like 55 million or euros. And like I think it was like somewhere like maybe it was like 30 million euros. I don't know. Either way, it was a lot of money, but it did terribly in the box office, making back only 3 million. So it's a true bomb, but also I think a cult classic. I think it definitely qualifies as one. There's got a cult following behind it. People really seem to like it. People like Blake.
Yeah. Well,
you know?
when you mentioned that it's a Belgian filmmaker, it starts to make sense. Like the incest storyline, I was like, man, like,
It's not incest. It was not incest.
it was incest light. It
makes-
was.
It's not
It wasn't
incest.
incest.
She
You're
makes
just-
a point to say, he's not my brother. So, you know.
It's real dumb. We can get into it later, but it's real dumb
Okay.
that the father was like, "You're disgusting."
Yeah.
Your brother and sister, like they met like fucking 3 months
Hey,
ago.
all I'm
Yeah.
saying is that 90% of that incest porn bullcrap on the internet is stepsister stuff.
Yeah, it all comes from this, probably.
Yeah, it all comes from this. This
Yeah,
is
which
the
came first,
progenitor
Blake?
of
Was
it.
it
Well, I
this
mean,
or
they
porn?
look. It's not. They fucking. They knew each other before this event even happened. Okay.
No, they didn't
You're-
because no, the mom was seeing the dad
Well,
slightly
they did
before
go to
met.
school
They went
together.
They went to.
No, they met at school after they got
Technically,
together.
he saw her on the bench as like a little fucking kid,
Yeah.
and then he saw her on the dock. and
Actually, I
then-
don't know if that actually happened. That,
That
may
was-
have been
oh,
like
the
a-
doc-
Yeah,
imagination.
the dock. I think you're right about that. Or are you talking about the bench?
The
or
bench,
dock?
I
the
think that-
bench with all 3 of them, all 3
Yeah.
of the
Yeah, I think that
young
was
versions of his
imagination.
wives waving.
Yeah, because the blonde chick's like American, right? So he wouldn't
Yeah.
have met her yet. And then
Well, she
yeah.
does say, okay, real quick. She does say, "We were neighbors when we were kids." The American
Oh.
girl says that.
Ah,
Elise
okay.
is her name.
Elise.
I don't know.
Depression girl.
Yes, depression girl. Anyway, sorry.
No,
Continue
it's
on.
fine. Okay, so anyway, the film received
Point being,
mixed
it's
reviews.
not incest. You're trying to outrage me. I won't stand for it.
Although the film received mixed reviews upon release, it has since gained a cult following for its philosophical depth and striking visuals. End section.
I agree with one of those.
All right, so we talked about our initial impressions, basically, right? Well, I guess me and you, Miles, did not talk about it. Me, personally, I watched this twice over the past 6 years since our last recording, and I like the first time I watched it, I really didn't like it. Second time, my opinion softened a bit.
Why?
But I think it just like I think it's because there's a lot of things like we can get into it later. But like the ending really annoyed me, and there was like a good chunk of the movie, like 30 minutes of it, that I was like, this could have been cut out or condensed so much better.
An hour. There was an hour that could have been cut out and condensed. Mind you, this is a 2.5 hour movie, guys. Okay,
Yeah, and there's
it
a
had no-
director's cut. Did
it
you
had-
know that?
What? There's a director's cut?
Yeah.
No,
I kind of want to watch it.
It had
No,
it had no right to be
That's Blake's
2.5
next
hours.
pick.
it really didn't.
Mr. Nobody Director's Cut's my next pick.
Like honestly, it was consuming so much of my time. I literally like was scrolling through as I was watching it. I was like, oh god, what's it gonna go through? Like, how is this long?
It's just
Yeah.
It really, I 100% agree. I think this movie would have been way better as like an hour 45.
Yeah.
It's a little long, but I didn't feel a lot of the length any of the times I've watched it.
It dragged so much.
It's funny. We'll get into it. We're at our initial impressions. Okay.
Okay.
So, well, I guess does that count as your initial impression?
One last thing for my initial impression. Beautiful, spectacular looking
Oh, yes.
movie.
Yes.
The visuals really reminded me of, like I said before, Cloud Atlas
Which ripped this movie off.
and Big Fish.
yeah, I could see that big fish vibe. Yeah, definitely.
So
Big Fish sucks.
I mean,
you
I'd
know,
rather watch Big Fish.
I do like Big Fish. That's like a a movie that was like critical
bad.
to my childhood development. You know,
that's-
I'm unhinged. We're getting rambunctious, Blake. Today. We're gonna fucking fight. You think this movie sucks? Big Fish sucks.
It did not rip off Cloud Atlas. The book came out in 2004.
Ah, interesting.
Still.
Or Cloud Atlas did not rip off this.
Yeah.
Still.
Jared Leto ripped off Ashton Kutcher. So that's it.
By what?
Okay.
Butterfly effect.
Butterfly
Oh.
effect. Okay. So, you know, I think I'm going to skip strengths and weaknesses. I feel like we'll assess that as we go along.
Yeah.
Okay. So I don't know. Like, let's just say themes. Like, there's a lot of interesting themes that I liked in this. Where it like that's a problem. I think I just want to say is like I think there's a lot of concepts again in the visuals and stuff that I liked, but overall not great execution. But the themes is another problem where it's like there's the idea of like I don't know whether it's like, you know, doing choices, the chaos theory, I guess, the butterfly effect. Very interesting. I think that's the strongest point. I think this movie's strongest is like the first like 20, 30 minutes maybe, where it's like you're first kind of getting introduced. You see he's jumping from all the different deaths and a lot of those things. I think that's cool. And then it kind of like, I feel like it loses itself a bit towards the end, but maybe that's just me. I don't know. What do you guys think of like a lot of the ideas, I guess, that are generally tackled in this movie of like destiny maybe, or like he's kind of circles back to the Anna, was it, and stuff? I don't know.
He was okay. So the interpretation I got out of this film, at least for what the story was, is there's a guy who is a loner loser at the end of his life, having accomplished absolutely nothing, to the point where society can't even remember
What do you
him
mean?
having
He
existed.
boned his stepsister like
Oh
tons of
no!
times.
Hey, man.
let me get through this.
That was his proudest achievement.
and he gets to the point where society doesn't even remember that he ever existed, which is kind of hard in the age of technology. You got to say, and it gets to that point where he's at the end of his life, and he is imagining all the different paths that he could have taken if he wasn't such a loser. Everything is just in his imagination, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I could have done this, but then I would have died." And then I could have done this, but then I would have died. And he's justifying his lazy, boring life that
So-
made him survive all the way to the end because he's pretending that there's something after death.
So are you saying then that his old man version of himself in the future, that's the real version of him?
Yes.
Okay. That's
That's
interesting.
yeah, that is an interesting take.
I see. I didn't
I
take
know that I know that he says, "Yeah, we're all just in a kid's imagination," but
yeah,
whatever. that's a red herring.
really, because that's how I took it. Is that literally where he's like, yeah, we're just like, it just comes down to the kid who just can't make the decision to go with his mom or his dad. But then that leads to a bunch of other issues where it's like, how the fuck could he possibly imagine all of these really intricate things that have happened? But like, I don't
He
know.
spent a lot of time fantasizing about fucking his stepsister.
I will
yeah,
say,
I guess that tracks for like a young man.
That's like
a young boy.
That's like 40% of this movie, dude.
Honestly,
I will agree with the one criticism. I think maybe this didn't bother me because when I watched it for the first time, I was 19. I will say, watching this as a 30-year-old, I'm like, Jesus Christ, can we like move on? I don't want to see this.
I think
It
that's
was too long.
It was
yeah,
too long.
and I think that's what annoys me is like there's like you know there's the multiverse. There's all these different choices, so many
Yes.
different possible things that they could have tapped into, and yeah, like 60-80% of it is just his romantic life with three
Yep.
different women, and really just
I mean, it's a
fucking
love
one.
story ultimately.
I know,
Yes.
but like,
yes.
and they only did the stuff in space so that they could market it as a sci-fi film and make it look interesting. Like, I mean, it was
I agree
super
with that.
pointless.
Also, the third wife, irrelevant.
Yeah, they
Yes.
really didn't give a shit
Jean,
about.
I think her name was.
Yeah, that
Irrelevant.
When
she
he
was
marries
she was
Asian
the
chick.
boring safe wife in his mind.
No, she was there so they could make up some like convoluted way to
him to
have
be
him get
rich.
shot in a fucking bathtub and put it at the beginning of the
Well-
movie and be like, "What? How did this happen?" And then it's like 4 minutes of the movie. It's so
Well-
stupid.
And also, that's
Well,
the
here's-
dumbest way to get shot. Like, I'm just saying, like, he assumes this guy's identity, gets
Yeah.
picked up by a car service, goes and checks into this hotel. At some point, they're going to say, "Hey, sir, we need to see some ID."
Okay,
You know,
let's
well-
give
well-
Blake a chat here.
Okay.
sorry.
All right. I'll let the simpletons finish their ramblings.
Okay.
On to the wife, to Jean, the third wife, the one that has the least screen time. I do also agree it's a fair criticism to say that her plot line doesn't really feel like it adds that much. My question is that by design? Because like the whole vibe you get when he's with her is he really doesn't like give a shit about her. And he's like, she was like Miles. I can't believe it, but Miles made a good point. Like she was the safe choice, right? She was the safe choice. He's very wealthy in this reality. Is that because the movie doesn't care about that reality because he never really did, maybe?
He marries the Asian lady. He just wants to kill
No,
himself
they
all
even
the time.
established that
It's
in the
terrible.
movie. It's like he makes the choice. He's like, yeah, the next girl who dances with me, I'm just gonna marry her.
Yeah.
And he's basically given up on that tangent, that arc of his reality right there.
I'll tell you something.
Yeah,
this
but,
plan
like-
sounds half-baked.
I feel like we didn't even get enough of that to give a shit about the fact that he doesn't care about her.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you need, like, just because.
I do think they should have taken some time out from Anna's story and given it to her.
Yeah,
Yes.
dude, the fucking 90 minutes they give to Anna. Oh my god.
I mean, she's like the secondary.
She's
main
the
character.
one.
Yeah.
yeah.
Right.
It's,
And I like where that story goes in the end, where he draws the circle and then she appears in it. Like I think like in like the
I
he
did
choose
not like that one, to be honest. That one felt
He just
so...
starts levitating for no reason. Because it looks cool. Yes, it looks cool, but
It was
why?
like, it was like Batman versus Superman, you know? Where he's-
whenever I saw it, I thought it's because he was dying or something.
I thought so too. I was like, oh, he just slept there like an idiot, never moved, and then died due to exposure. And
but
she
I-
saw him, and that was going to be so much more tragic if she's like, oh my God, you died waiting here like Hachi. But no, it's like he just was just fine, I guess. He was asleep.
Oh, also Plaid World was cool, but it was annoying as shit because it didn't mean anything, didn't go anywhere, and it was just pointless overall. It just didn't make sense.
Yeah, Blake, I'm curious your interpretation of that.
of Plaid,
Plaid
World or the
World.
whole movie.
Plaid
I guess
World.
Plaid World, and like I guess that one where it seemed that version, that world where everything's kind of falling apart, like in Inception, you know, like
Well, okay.
No, it was like a fucking, what's that movie with the
Eternal
guy?
Sunshine.
No, the guy trapped in the big dome and everybody's filming his life.
It's a
Truman
Biodome.
Show.
Truman
Show.
Show. Yeah.
I think you're thinking Biodome.
Okay,
starring
sure,
Pauly
Biodome.
Shore.
Well, I think that was like kind of him and like his subconscious. But look, I'll explain my theory on the movie, but I really don't think it matters almost. Like that's kind of like the movie doesn't really care. Like it's kind of just like, here you go. And you can just, it can mean whatever you want it to mean. But if I had to really dig in and be like, this is what happened, I'm going to take the literal explanation that before he was born, the angels forgot to silence his mind. Therefore, he's like kind of experiencing everything all the time.
That was interesting to me. I'll say that was probably the most interesting thing, like the catalyst to that, where I was like, okay, this is fascinating. I wonder how this is gonna affect
That angel
things.
fucked
And
up.
I was disappointed.
But
Did
my,
that angel get fired, dude? That seems like seems like a pretty big oversight.
yeah,
But
he
that's
got cast
my
down immediately.
That's my interpretation of the movie, is that, you know, at the end of the movie, he's at the end of his life or whatever, or at the beginning of the movie, he's at the end of his life, and then we see all of his lives. But I think like the ultimate arc is he just kind of chooses the one he liked the most, or he kind of makes his own path. That's the point of that shot, right? Where he runs off like away from the train, the other direction. So that's my interpretation of the story.
Yeah, he's like, I'm gonna be celibate in this version.
No, he runs to
but
Anna
the
on the dock.
canonical version of what happens at that train platform is that he
that
pisses his pants and falls down.
Why do you say that?
Because he does.
Is that?
When?
I don't remember that one.
That's like what happens. That's like at the end when they're showing it finally. He pisses his pants and he falls down.
What the fuck are you talking
No,
about?
I think it's like Blake says. He runs off down the other road.
Yeah,
Like-
the train
I
disappears.
don't remember anyone pissing their pants in this movie.
no, he
He
does pee
pisses his pants
Oh, he
like
does?
5
when-
times.
Yeah, when his dad's like forgets to put the brake in the car or whatever, and it goes down the hill, and it like doesn't it kill a lady or something?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm talking about? Is that not in this version?
Yeah, no, that was. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, me and Miles saw that. Do you remember that?
Wait, what are you talking about?
It's like his dad, like he's like.
Did you guys watch the director's cut?
Did we
first
accidentally
time?
watch the
Did I
director's
watch
cut?
the director's cut?
I have no idea.
Do
what
you
you're
remember
talking
someone
about.
pissing their pants?
No, I don't remember.
Okay.
Multiple
He pisses
times.
their
He pees
pants.
his pants. Yeah.
Multiple times.
He does. Okay, maybe we
I think
accidentally
that's the
did.
director's cut.
That's so funny. Okay, so in that version, he like pees his pants when he like is like I guess remembering the future a couple times. Like I want to say like maybe twice. Like maybe. And the first time is when his dad like he forgets to put like the parking brake on his car and it rolls down and it like hits a guy or something, right? Doesn't it, like, kill
it
him?
runs over a lady with a stroller.
Oh, so yeah,
Yeah.
like, he kills a lady with the baby. And then
Yeah.
he's just like, oh, he's all fucked up about it. That's
Yeah.
No, that didn't happen.
version.
In the
I've
version
I've seen this movie 3 times now, and I've never seen that scene.
Okay, yeah. Well, that was the thing that we saw.
I guess you guys shouldn't have watched the director's cut first.
When because like I watched it again at Blake's house, and like I didn't watch that part, but I thought because like I went to the bathroom or something, like I thought I missed it. That's funny. Okay, well that was the thing, and you know what? That added actually something a little bit.
It was a little bit funny.
It
right?
reminded
that
me-
was one of my most memorable scenes of the film.
It was a
in,
little
like
funny.
a segment.
yeah. It reminded me of like the bloody nose thing from Butterfly Effect when he's like spazzing out and his like nose starts.
No, so like the cool thing, like the thing about it is, so I'm gonna explain this for Blake and Jason real quick because it's actually a pretty interesting sequence. So he is kind of remembering the future where his dad's gonna get out of the car and his car is then going to roll down the hill and run over this lady. But that's represented through a little model version of the town. You know how it goes into like the kind of like what do you call it? Like
when the shoe steps on the house.
Yeah, like
that
the
one.
shoe
Or the
steps on
hand
the
puts
house and
the
stuff. Yeah.
car down.
Like that kind of world. So you see it happening in that world first.
Okay.
Right? And then it happens in reality as he's running out to go try to stop it from happening.
See, I wanted more things like that.
Yes,
that was the thing that
that's
was like,
cool. That's
oh, that's
interesting.
interesting.
Yeah.
Because like there's a part like when he's like sitting at the table with like, you know, his new stepdad or whatever, that dude, and then he's like, I know you're gonna die. It's like you're gonna be driving one day and you're gonna hit, which doesn't make any sense compared to like the rest of this story where it's like, okay, he like, you know, because yeah, he brings it up in that scene too, right? Where he's like, I knew dad was gonna hit the car or hit that one lady, and then he was like, she's like, shut up. But no, he tells that dude, and then it's like they show flashes of it like it's something that actually is gonna happen, but he never does it again. But also, why would he know this dude's future instead of his own future? I guess maybe he like learned about it at some point.
It doesn't make much sense on that.
Well, I think he knows all futures, and that's the point, right?
Well,
Really?
no,
I don't think he knows the future of everybody.
the problem
that would
with
make
this
him
film.
like omnipotent. Basically.
yeah, he'd be the most successful person on the planet.
Well, it's kind of like he can almost. There's like a vibe where it feels like he can switch realities at will almost.
Yeah. See.
Because like when he ends up in the coma,
He switched
goes,
his reality.
no, look,
Yeah,
okay.
he does. He's like, I gotta go back.
Yeah, he says, I gotta go
rewinds
back.
Okay.
and then jumps into like something else. So I get what. Yeah, I get what you're
So
saying.
guys,
there.
it's pointless to ascribe rules to what's going on because this is a thing that some of these existentialist new age bullshit art nouveau filmmakers do all the time. Right?
Yeah.
Where
All
no, they don't make rules for their systems. They
Well,
you know,
okay.
they have just shit going on and they're like, "Oh, this looks cool, this looks cool, this looks cool." And they just let it happen.
I don't
All right, Bryan Sanderson.
I don't agree with every movie of this ilk does that, but I do kind of feel like this movie does that a little bit.
No, it does.
Like-
It does. It's just really, and that's one of the things that kind of frustrated with me about it. Where it's like I'm not opposed to it being more like dreamlike or ethereal. Like there's like the rules are kind of blurred. You don't really know, but it feels like it tries to do both, and it kind of fails a bit at both. Where it's like, you know,
And
what?
it's just not as interesting as the concepts like suggest it should be.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, like it feels kind sorry. It's like Inception, you know? Inception is like, oh, we're going into dreams, we're fucking and the dreams are just like a hotel. And it's just like
I agree with
this could
that.
be way more cool.
It's like, hey, I'm walking down a bridge I walk down all the time. It's like, what kind of lame ass dreams are you having, man?
See, like there's ways you could have done this, right? Because you could have had it where you have these, 3 or 6 realities kind of running in parallel and they kind of branch off with each other. You shoot them with different lighting, different types of scenery, things like that to differentiate them. And you shoot them kind of in parallel. So he's growing up at the same time in each of these realities. And then as he dies in one, that gets cut off. As he dies in another, the next gets cut off. And then you can also cut to the end of his life in order to contextualize what's happening there. Right? But you do that and it could be a workable film, but it just jumped around so much that it was hard to make sense of what was going on.
Well,
Like,
yeah, Blake.
and this movie has amazing transitions into scenes. There's like all those, I really like shit like that, like where it's like a shot of like he's on the beach and then it zooms out and like different Jared Leto's like reading a magazine where that's the cover, or it comes. There's so many transitional scenes that are cool as fuck in this.
I agree. Yeah.
Stylistically, it's great.
Oh, and this
Yeah.
is more imaginative than Nolan. If Nolan had made this movie, it'd be boring as fuck.
Yes.
Do you not agree with that?
Again, yes.
I don't know. Like, I feel
Well-
like Nolan would at least make one of his lives, like, he wouldn't make it a love story, first
It's-
of all.
if Nolan
in
made
one
this-
life, he'd be like an assassin. In another life, he'd be like a fucking, I don't know, Batman.
I just mean visually. I think yes, it would have been a lot more boring.
yes.
But
It'd be
like,
just
but
hotels.
like story wise, like I think it could have probably been way better. It would have been probably a cross between like Tenet and Inception, and like,
Oh, that sounds fucking great.
and I mean, don't get me wrong, it sounds like it could be a complete nightmare where he's like, he has an entire whiteboard filled with like how everything makes sense to him, but then everyone is like, what the fuck? I
You have
don't
to do
understand.
homework to fucking understand Tenet.
Tenet sucks. I hate Tenet.
Yes, Tenet does suck.
I like this as a simple love story at the end of the day. I don't know. I like that. It's like,
Well,
okay.
Okay, here's the thing too.
It's depressing as shit,
I
though.
wanna put-
Yeah, it is a very
Look at it.
sad movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, okay. So the thing is, I think this movie has been done or a similar concept, because it's not the first movie, obviously, like we're saying, with like a multiverse or multi-timeline thing. That's happened like more than a few times. But I think Everything Everywhere All at Once, even though like maybe it's overhyped and whatever, but like
Still
I
haven't
think
seen that.
I think
It's a good movie. I enjoyed it.
It does a very good version of this. It's not trying to be this, but it's its own thing for sure. It's more about like what's crazy about that movie to me is like that movie is like 10 movies in one. It's just smushed together and like all these different, and it does its really best job of being able to like piece it together. But I'm just saying, like, it manages to like snip in like 2-3 minute like vignette stories that somehow have like so much like kind of heart in it, like like I don't know, like I feel like it's that's where this movie kind of like really struggles a lot. But I mean, let's focus on like the visual and cinematic style, because the transitions I think are done really well. The different kinds of styles of the way they shoot things, like you said, like when he's underwater, he splashes out, he's like, oh, he's in the tub and stuff. That's really cool. That's definitely one of the strong points in the movie. And I don't know, there's a bunch of other stuff too.
Yeah, I really
like when
like
he's-
the way that the plaid world. Again, that's my favorite.
That's the most
part of
visually
the-
striking.
Yeah,
Yeah.
of the movie, right? How it's got big bricks of water, like it's being constructed or deconstructed. You can't really tell which, and then it swaps from being like you're in the scene to being behind the scenes. Everything seems very manufactured. To it becomes the miniature world, and it kind of just jumps all over the place with that, and it
color's
just
really
is very
good.
seamless. Yeah.
Like the use of color between the three main like love interest storylines, right? Of like red, blue, yellow. It's like it's cool, like it's like there's a lot of strengths there. I'll give Jared Leto like props for when he's an old man. Like I think he does it.
debuted his Joker laugh.
Yes, that's what I was like. I kept hearing his Joker laugh, which is still the worst Joker laugh
He kind
ever.
of sounds like Bane from The Dark Knight Rises. I'm Mr. Nobody.
Nobody. Oh, yeah, that's why. That's like he sounds like a crow.
They call me Mr. Kraft. Can't remember a fucking thing. I honestly, that was a good line. I like that line.
Yeah, and then like the dude with the facial tattoos, I was like,
Yeah.
it's striking. That's pretty cool. Like even that whole hospital scene where he's talking to the dude, that dumbass reporter who can't seem to figure
that guy
out.
bothered me.
He's like, but what? How can you married her in one life and then she died in the other? How's that possible? And it's like, it's a splintering timeline, you idiot. Like, how do you not get that?
I mean, to be fair,
Aren't
if
you in the future? You should like know this shit, man.
Also, that sucks, man. You got gypped. He's like the last person who's ever gonna die.
and
Well,
then
And people
I
are
mean-
voting on whether or not to keep him alive.
well, it's like, but he doesn't die, right? Because he dies and then he comes right back. So I guess he does, and then he
Because
doesn't.
of the big crunch.
Yeah.
Which is the dumbest thing ever.
Why?
There's nothing in any string theory or anything that I've ever seen.
I've heard that
that's-
theory before.
Yeah, it was
No,
a theory
that-
before, but it's been like it's not like believed anymore because I think it's gonna be like
Because it's ridiculous.
well, I mean the idea before was
I
that
didn't realize you're an expert on quantum string theory.
Also, it is a movie. So,
yes,
like,
yes. Like it's
I'm fine with it.
You know, the idea was like, yeah, like the Big Bang forces would slow down and eventually, but like now people are freaked out, or not freaked out, but they're like, they don't understand why everything is accelerating faster and faster, like spreading apart, which is interesting. But I guess using it for this concept,
Yeah, I don't think it
works.
fits. I don't think it fits in this movie.
I think it kind of does because they're going
think
for
it
like
does.
that loop idea, like, and they're like, oh, everything goes out and then it comes right back in. So he's just
Yeah.
gonna keep.
So they could have
know.
cut that out. They could have cut out Mars. They could have cut out
I
all the
100%
Mars is yeah. What the fuck?
Okay, no, because of one line where she was like, "Oh yeah, scatter my ashes on Mars," and so they could have cut out Mars. They could have cut out the end sequence, or
What's
kept it
the
in,
end sequence? What
where
do you
he's
mean?
going backwards.
He's
in
just
time.
pissing himself the whole time while
Yeah.
he's running. No, I'm just kidding.
Right? Because because they have to cut
Oh, I'm
out.
sorry, you want to cut out the point of the movie?
It's not the point of the
Look,
movie.
I would not
There
cut
is
out
no point of the
Mars because I think that was, for me, that was actually one of the more interesting things. Where I guess, well, no, that's not exactly true. I think visually it looked really cool, and they could have
Visually,
done
it
more
looked cool.
with him going to fucking Mars rather than just going on a little rover ride and just like half-heartedly.
Tossing her ashes.
He's just like,
I actually really like that scene where he's like,
he's like, there you go.
No, but
It's like, oh, she's so depressing.
and also it didn't make sense within the film. The level of technology to be at that point did not make sense within the framework of the film.
Well, I think that was supposed to be like just going on in his mind while he's like, you know, that version where he's like the motorcycle accident where he was like, they kind of show him like writing up the story.
Yes, no, I mean
And then-
it's definitely a story,
So it's like his escapism. He's like, oh yeah, my stepsister.
but the
And
whole
like,
thing
you
is
know,
a goddamn story. No,
you
because
didn't have a
then-
stepsister in
okay.
that story. Keep it together. Ron.
Okay, because
you know,
that was the
it's a-
story where he
it's a
sponge baths his dad.
Yeah, which was I feel like you don't have to actually get into the bath with them and like have them lean on you. Like that felt weird. I don't know. Write in if that's
It's
if
like
that's
a-
real.
no, then they could have cut out all the stuff with him being a knockoff Stephen Fry.
Oh yeah, him just being like crunching.
Or who's the guy that did Cosmos?
Carl Sagan.
Originally
Carl
Carl Sagan,
Sagan.
and then,
Yeah.
So for this, it would have been a Carl Sagan.
I
reference.
actually liked the segments where he's like a personality on TV.
yeah, I thought that was interesting. Like
And it was a cool
It
way
is,
to
but it doesn't-
communicate those concepts.
It
to
doesn't
you.
work with the rest of the film.
Why?
With the concepts that you're
why
going
doesn't
with it.
Why doesn't this work for you?
Because I'm trying to trim down like an hour, maybe an hour and a half from this
Leave it
film.
alone. It's
Look,
fine.
An hour and a half.
look, okay, so
It'd be
Okay.
40 minutes.
Yeah.
50 minutes.
Yeah.
it would have been a fun short story, I think. No. Okay, so let's get into the performances. Okay, I think Jared Leto does a lot, and I know we like to like really dunk on him a lot for a lot of legitimate reasons.
for his the great person he is outside
Some
of
of
it.
his acting is good.
But if we're
Some of
just
it's
talking
bad.
about his acting, it's not bad. To like, I wouldn't say it's like he's really like it's like a breakout. Like anything's like crazy where I'm like, oh, dude, this guy's an amazing actor.
He pulls it off.
But he does pull it off. I think he does it, but it doesn't really blow me away. I feel like a better actor could have probably brought a lot more.
Honestly-
I don't know.
My issue is his character. Like, I feel like I don't know Nemo at all.
Oh, he's
Like-
nobody. That's why.
But, like, yeah.
No,
that
he's
sucks,
super.
though.
He's super. Okay, so my thing is, he's super bland, and he's a little bit creepy, just in his demeanor, how he looks, how he acts, and stuff like that. To the point where it's like, okay, it's hard for me to believe that these women would actually like go
Really
anywhere near him.
Fawning over him a lot. You know?
Yeah. And it's like, okay, this is really stretching
I mean,
my
I think
my,
they
my
go for like
disbelief.
the sensitive type kind of with them, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of like the vibe. I think that's purposeful that we don't really know too much about him because it's a lot. There's a lot of movie to cover.
Yeah. It's funny because it does feel like this would be like a character study thing, but it's
It's not. It's more like it's more about like the ride and like
Yeah.
the kind of.
But that's the thing too, though. It's like I feel like if they're going more for that, like they could have leaned heavier into like just like the because again, like that first opening, like 15 minutes, I was having a good time. I was enjoying it, like him jumping back and forth between like his old self, and he's just like, rah! And then like going when he was a kid, and he's like in the dream, like the pre-birth era, and then like when he's a teenager. I don't know. I was like, this is cool, and then it just feels like they tried to like stay on like a single story at a time, and a lot of those stories I did not find that interesting. I guess.
Well.
I don't know.
Nothing really happened in any of the stories. They were all very boring stories, to be honest. And it's you can't just take 3 to 7 boring stories, mash them all together, and say, okay, this is a beautiful story now, because all these stories are happening.
It's simple. It's nothing crazy. I mean, it feels like it is. It's almost like a Christopher Nolan movie in that regard, where like it's like trying to trick you into thinking that's really complicated, but it's a relatively simple story that's just told with like such visual flair. And I like that. I don't care.
I'm never saying anything bad about the visuals, because I enjoyed the visuals.
No, but I mean, even in
appreciated
terms of that, like I like how the story flows because of that. Like it's fun.
They all dragged on so long, though. There were either not enough stories or there were too many that were just bad. Because I think if they had 7 or 8 more stories and they had cut down every single story in length, it would have made more interesting jumping back and forth. You never know what's going to happen next. But it's like, oh, okay, just more of this story, more sister incest.
Well, let's go back to the performances.
Okay.
So I really like the doctor guy. I guess his name's Alan.
The guy with the tattoos.
Yeah, I thought he was great. I thought he did like a really strong job. Like whenever he showed up, I was like, oh, this guy's interesting. He shows up like at least a couple different timelines, right? Because at least one of them he doesn't have tattoos, right? When he does, am I wrong? No.
Does that happen? I thought he only had tattoos.
I think there was one where you see him where he doesn't have tattoos. Like I think maybe it's in one of like the plaid world or something. Okay, Diane Kruger I thought was
Very
fine.
good. I
Really?
thought she was good.
I thought she was all right.
I thought Sarah Polley was actually
The
really
blonde
good.
one?
Yeah. The
Yeah, no,
one.
she was honestly, I would say best performance out of the film was her.
I agree
like
with that.
I actually like felt bad for her the whole time, because she was
I felt
definitely
something
like,
in those moments.
yeah, she was struggling with like literally postpartum depression. Like it was obvious that that's what it was, and he didn't know how to deal with it.
Well,
she didn't know how to deal with it.
It's more than that. I think they're like kind of going for. I think this is a little bit like before, like people tried to, or not like before we have more of an idea of like how depression really is, because this does feel like kind of an older version of like depiction of depression, where she's just like like crying and
No, she was
hysterically.
I mean, but like there's people who
Feels like she had
who get
something
to
a
that
little more
point.
than
she
depression.
She had
Yeah.
she had a horrible bout of just like she didn't know what was going on in her life. She had become lost and unglued. And I think that that's actually the genesis for his imagination of Jean, right? Because he looked at the way that she looked at him and then projected that onto himself as, hey, if I was married to somebody who I didn't really love, right?
How
How would I act in that situation? And then that became the progenitor of Jean. And that's why their storyline kind of splits right off of each other. They're very interconnected. I'm not saying that it's good, but that's what I got from it.
Yeah, I like Sarah Polley's performances when she was a little bit more like kind of restrained in like certain moments, like when she was kind of laying in bed and she was just like
And sobbing, and she's like, I don't love you. And it's like,
when she was just
What'd
like
she say? You were laughing, Jason. She was like,
I'm still in love with Stefano. Yeah. I was
then
like, oh, the child predator.
and then every morning she's like, every morning I wake up and I see your face. It's like, oh my God. Jesus.
So was it Stefano whose hair that she was cutting in the
I think
barbershop?
so, yeah.
Okay.
But that's what I'm
they
saying.
didn't reveal it, but like I that's what I assumed was happening, is like yeah, I couldn't tell though.
Yeah, she had a lot of issues.
Yeah.
It was a little cartoony at times, I think.
She also dies in one reality.
Yeah, she does. She dies before she has a chance to ruin his life.
And he mourns what never was.
Yeah, and he's just obsessed with like rotting photography.
Or no, I think he's
Decaying.
obsessed. He's obsessed with the reversal thing.
Yeah.
Because it's like he's looking at like pictures going back and forth.
that was more interesting.
And that's
I was
when
like,
he
who's
goes-
that guy?
That's when he ends up going to Mars, and Anna So that's the
Is that
story.
the one where he goes to Mars? No,
yeah, no, that's the storyline where he goes to Mars.
Oh, you know what? He does
because-
have the scar because he has the scar.
Yeah,
in
the
Mars.
scar and the urn.
Yeah, it's also
and
where
then
he's like
also
the TV host.
The one where he's a TV host. Yeah, so it's all
So I
falling
guess there's
through
like
that
a couple
line.
different realities.
and
with-
that's where he actually re-meets Anna up on Mars.
No,
Yeah.
but then
and then that's where she's telling him about time, and she tells him about the
no,
big crunch.
but on those ones he has like shit in his forehead. He's got like
well, there's
that,
mul- there's
Yeah,
there's
the
different.
cum-
but that's later.
They had the cum
The cum
hair.
hair.
Yeah, no, so that's later because he's worked for years and years and years like doing this stuff, and now he's rich enough to do this, and he's able to finally re-meet his stepsister.
That's another movie.
It was never his stepsister in this reality. This is the
movie
reality
ripped-
where he stays with his dad.
This
God,
movie
you
ripped
guys are
off. There's
amateurs.
something about Mary. You know? Cum in her hair.
Woogie.
Yeah, Woogie.
It's the only thing I remember about something about Mary. Is that there's a character named Woogie.
Yeah, he like steals her shoes. He's like he gets covered in warts. That movie's so dumb. It's great. Yeah, okay. So the soundtrack for this movie, another strong point, I think, right?
I liked
Like,
it, yeah.
It's pretty good. It jumps along between like the original or like it's like oh god, there's a name for it. Like it's like not original music, but you know.
Don't you work in the film industry?
Yeah,
Diegetic, right? Something like
yeah,
that?
it's like, you know, they like do like classic songs, like, you
Well,
know,
yeah.
it kind of goes from like, you know,
Licensed music.
licensed music. There you go.
Don't you work in the film industry?
Yeah, I don't,
Hey.
so I mean, I do this.
I will say music very, 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 very overused for
Mr.
the-
Sandman.
for the shots. Yeah.
They played that song like 6 times.
I like that.
Me a dream.
No, but just in general, like in all those like time bending reality type
Yeah.
movies, those get used for montages so much. Every single, or at least like 3 of the songs.
I can't
I
hear
forget
Mr.
which 3. but-
I can't hear Mr. Sandman without thinking of this movie. I will say every surreal movie, I think that's like a law they have to use. Where's My Mind by the Pixies? Every surreal movie or TV show always does.
Here's an interesting thing. I think the director he said, quote, "Mr. Nobody is the film I am most proud of. Financially, it was a failure, but artistically speaking, I think it's the best thing I can do in my life." Director Jean von Darmo.
Good for you, man.
Man.
Yeah, good for him. I think yeah, it's like he's proud of it. That's awesome. Like yeah, I think
he
Oh,
should
you know
be.
what? He
Yeah.
reached for the stars and fell in a heap of shit. So
Hey,
it's,
You're listening to
You're supposed
this.
to say you landed it amongst the stars.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Love
You're
your
shooting for the
movie if
moon.
you're listening to this, Mr.
Yeah, if you're listening to
Director.
this, I'm happy you enjoy it.
Yeah, no, for real. It's like I think that's the best. That's why like I don't like hate this movie. It's like I can just ask for people to try to make the best that they can, or whatever, right? Like they strive to do something that their ideas, and I feel like
everyone's like, oh, do something different, and then they do, and they don't like it.
Hot take. This movie, I think, does almost reach the height of Nolan movies or Villanueva movies. Or Denis Villeneuve movies. Sorry, not Villanueva. I always get that wrong. But where the
I just
best,
call him Vinny.
yeah, good old Dennis. Where these movies
Danny,
are,
not Vinny.
yeah, these movies are best watched on a plane without sound, over the shoulder of the person in front of you.
I was glad to watch this in like a nice, watching the TV, and I was like, oh, there's a lot of fun visuals, and it looked really cool. It was a good ride, and then it kind of just went on for a little too long, in my opinion. But it was good though. I mean, it was interesting. And also, this movie had like a bunch of issues, like getting like a U.S. distributor. Like it sat on the shelf for like 4 years until they decided to like release it in 2013. When they released Dallas Buyers Club was like getting a lot of fame, which was like
Jared Leto's
Jared
big
Leto's
role.
like big thing. So they're like, oh, let's release it now that people are like interested in Jared Leto again, which I think is interesting. But it's another case where it's like maybe it would have done a lot better, or maybe it would have had a larger cult following by now if it had been released like actual time of like production or something. But wouldn't have done. But it didn't, which is crazy. But yeah, after the 5 weeks, the U.S. it made only like $3,600.
Holy shit.
So it did really bad.
It's a shame.
Unfortunately.
It's such a good movie.
I'll say it is a shame because I think it's like you said,
It's worth
it's
being
interesting.
seen.
Yes,
Yeah, it's worth a watch,
It's worth
for
a
sure.
watch. I imagine in theaters it's probably better. It's cool.
Sam
right?
likes this movie.
Then
Yeah,
interest is up recently for this movie.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, good. Let's cash in
No,
now.
leading up to it, I had never seen.
Everyone's
This,
gonna hate this review.
I know, for real.
I had never seen this movie before, and leading up to it, I had been seeing like clips on like Facebook Shorts.
That's because the algorithm knows everything now.
Yeah,
and like
yeah.
YouTube and stuff like that. And it was just like, and clips of him as like an old man, right? That like the old man scene where he's talking with weird face dude. And that has been just showing up all over the place recently.
You guys
Okay.
want to wrap up?
I mean, we can.
Sorry, it's not a Marvel movie, Miles. I know you'd be much happier with Iron Man 7 or whatever.
He's really pushing to watch Thunderbolts, and I'm like, nah, dude.
Miles is really excited for Thunderbolts.
What the fuck is Thunderbolts?
You know what that is.
No, I don't.
You've been talking about it for weeks, dude.
Is that a new one?
I'm sure it'll be much simpler for you to follow.
okay? I think
Superman's coming out for you soon, too. The Barney movie, too.
I am actually looking forward to Superman.
Oh man, these are all movies I don't want to see. I mean, I'm down to watch the Barney movie. Is it going to be like the Winnie the Pooh one? Is he going to like murder everybody?
That's. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. It probably wasn't very good. The Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey.
Yeah, I did want to see that one.
Why?
Just because it's like
it's one of those fucking cash grabs where immediately like an IP is hits the public domain.
the design looked interesting.
Looks like
and
they
I was
made it in like 2 days after the IP became public.
I remember there was a lot of build up to that. Like I remember like people were talking about them wanting to do that for like years.
Are
Feels
they going to
like.
come up with like a Rule 34 for like horror films where like there's a horror film about everything that you can possibly imagine?
Well, yeah, I mean they already want to do that with like Steamboat Willie, like
Yeah.
Mickey
It
and
already
stuff.
happened, I think.
There's a game out that's out about it, but I'm sure that someone will do like a movie because it's like, yeah, you can. Might as well just do it.
But I think that they're all just going to be horror slashers from now on.
I mean,
They're cheap and easy
probably,
to make.
yeah. Okay, so back on track. Final thoughts about this movie. Go.
It was certainly a movie.
Okay. Jason.
Yeah, I don't know. Again, I think if you cut out 30 minutes, as you said, Ron, this would be a much better movie. Give us a little more personality from Nemo. Give us more of Jean, or just cut her out entirely. But, it's entertaining all the way through. There's always something going on that I found interesting, at least visually. So I'll give it that. Watch it. See for yourself. I don't know.
Yeah, I think this one's definitely a see for yourself. I'll say put it in the shit bucket. No, I'm just kidding. No. That's a callback to our old rating system up there.
I still enjoy that rating system. I miss it.
I miss arguing about the rating system.
Yeah, that was fun. Even though it was frustrating because I was like, ah. But I do miss being able to put things in the shit bucket. That was fun. No, I would say I would put this in the shit bucket even if I could. I think it's just it's a fun movie. Like I said, I think it is kind of see for yourself. It's not exactly what like I was left. I think maybe frustrated because it was like something more that I wanted from this movie. It was like I almost had expectations for it that maybe isn't fair to put on it. Like I kind of wish that it was a little bit different, but that's on me. I think overall though it excels in a lot of ways. Like the visuals, the music, the editing is like
great editing.
very well done. So that's good, and I think. There's a lot to enjoy in this. So I'm not like, I'm not going to try to shit on it as much as I know I have been shitting on it, Blake, but like, if you enjoy it, that's totally valid, I think.
I will say, I'm going to acknowledge that I know nostalgia as a huge part of this. Like I said, I saw this movie when I was like 19 and I didn't know anything about it. It was like on Netflix or something. And I was like, oh, that's a cool poster. And I sat down and I watched it and I was like, holy fucking shit.
Jared Leto, my favorite person.
Jared Leto, notoriously great guy. I don't think we knew everything about him yet.
No. He just, I think after this, when this first came out, he just started 30 Seconds to Mars. Oh my God. Actually, because I saw it was a break he took after filmmaking from this movie after this to do that. I wonder if that was like a partial inspiration why he did 30 Seconds to Mars.
Maybe.
The band. That's crazy.
I watched this when I was 19 and it just, I don't know. I really fucking liked it. It was like one of my favorite movies at a time. I do not like it nearly as much. Like it, I probably would have called it a 10 out of 10 back in the day, and I know it's not. I know it has many flaws, but I still think it's a really good movie, and I think it's like something most people should see, and I think it's something a lot of people would like too, because it is very cool. It's very neat. It's got a great concept, and it's a great experience. It's one of those like experience movies, right? And I like that. So I think it's well worth the watch. I think if you're on the fence, fuck it, just watch it. It's a great movie.
Yeah. Sounds good. It also reminded me of was it Little Nemo? You guys remember that movie?
Little Nemo.
No, it was about like adventures in Slumberland. Slumberland. No, it was
About
like
Timmy the Tooth.
no. It's like a kid who like basically he like goes to sleep and he gets invited to Slumberland because the king wants like it's like an anime that got like an American distribution. It was actually very interesting. It scared the shit out of me though as a kid because there's like the villain is like the Nightmare King and he's like really creepy. He looks like the king of Bald Mountain and like the kind of Fantasia. It's actually some pretty cool visuals.
You know way
in that.
too much about kids' movies.
I watched a lot of movies as a kid. But yeah, that's it reminds me of this. Anyway.
All right, who's picking the next movie?
Oh shit,
Oh,
I am.
I guess. Well, while he figures out a movie real quick, do you guys want to go through what you watched over the past
think it's
couple
Miles.
weeks?
Is it?
Yeah.
No.
No, Miles picked 8th grade.
Yeah, I did
Oh,
8th grade.
right.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, it's you.
So, I guess we watched Once Upon a Time in Hollywood the other week.
Yeah.
Yeah, we made the sequel happen.
Yeah, it
That
was.
was on us.
Yeah,
You're
By
welcome.
David Fincher.
it was a good movie.
It's going to be interesting to see that sequel. Sorry, I'm not trying to like
Wait,
discount.
you're good.
Did you not hear they announced a sequel for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood directed by David Fincher?
What?
Still
Yeah.
written by Quentin Tarantino still,
That's
which is going to be bizarre.
when did they announce this? This bizarre.
Like a
That's
week
crazy.
ago.
A week ago, yeah.
That's crazy.
And
Now
we
with
watched
10%
it.
less
dude.
feet.
I'm excited.
And we watched it like a day before they announced that, so I'm pretty sure it was our number that made the studios go, there's interest.
Yeah, that's crazy. I'm actually.
I can't believe
in
you
that.
didn't know that.
No, I haven't heard it. That's wild. Like that sounds very interesting because I think when Tarantino like writes something and someone else directs it, that's always fun because like, you can kind of see.
I couldn't think of a weird pairing, a more weird pairing.
No, and it
But
doesn't make much sense.
When I
but
think of David Fincher
interesting.
dialogue, it's like surgical. Tarantino's very like over the top and dramatic.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting.
That's cool. Okay.
And then also I've been watching the Newsroom, the Aaron Sorkin TV show.
Okay.
It's definitely worth watching.
I like The
watched it
Newsroom.
a while ago, but man, just I forgot how much like Americana of the early 2010s was in it. You know, like all the historical events where they're like covering it from the view of being in the newsroom, breaking the news. It's very interesting to look at, like how we look at these things.
Yeah. I like the Newsroom. It's not as good as The West Wing, though. The West Wing's awesome.
I'm gonna watch The West Wing right after this. I've never seen The West Wing. And
Let me know what you think.
Yeah, that's like on my list. When I was like, man, I'm gonna watch The Newsroom again, and then I was like, oh wait, The West Wing, but I was already kind of committed. So yeah,
Okay, so I got 2 movies here I want to talk about that couldn't be
Okay.
any more different. So
Okay.
I need your guys' help to decide this. All right. So on one hand, I have Eastern Promises by David Cronenberg, which I've been wanting to rewatch a lot.
I'm always down for a Cronenberg film.
Okay. It's not that kind of Cronenberg movie, but it is. It's a good one though. I actually really like that movie.
There's a sauna scene,
Obviously.
right?
Yeah, yes. That's the only reason I watch it. It's like no, and then there's Mortal Kombat, the 90s one. You know, with the theme song.
My vote's going to be Eastern Promises.
Eastern
And you knew
Promises?
that.
I want you to pitch me Mortal Kombat real quick.
I'm on the fence because
Dun, 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 dun.
Damn it, I'm in.
I feel like that would be a fun one to talk about. But I've never seen Eastern Promises.
Choose.
You've got me intrigued.
Fuck, man. I wish you had like a coin or something to flip because I've actually been thinking about it, and for some reason, like these 2 movies, like I jump back and forth, and I'm like, I want to just choose like a fun one.
No
that's
outside
ridiculous.
influence. Pick the one that's right for you.
Okay. All right. This movie, Mr. Nobody, wasn't depressing enough, so I'll go Eastern Promises. Here we go.
Okay,
Cronenberg.
Eastern Promises.
Hey.
Down.
Hey, all right.
Hey.
Have you guys seen it?
I've not.
I've never seen a David Cronenberg movie.
You said that like a British person.
Yeah.
I
Have
did.
you guys seen it?
Have you guys seen it? This movie does take place in London.
I've never seen a David Cronenberg movie.
Okay.
Really?
This
Yeah,
is
really.
an interesting.
I know. Maybe I'll watch The Fly
introduction.
before I do.
No,
it.
don't do that. I think I think it's like you just gotta like really just push out any of the ideas that you have of a Cronenberg movie. And wait, didn't you watch what was that one Futures? Oh my god, we reviewed it.
Is this one a little bit like Crash?
No, I didn't watch Crimes of the Future.
You didn't watch Crime? Oh, okay.
Is this one going to be a little bit more like Crash, where it's more like in reality kind
This
of?
is definitely his most realistic, like grounded film.
Not no
Okay.
batshit crazy.
No, there's no
fucking-
real like crazy body horror stuff. It's like it's. I don't want to give away too much. It's just like
have you guys seen Crash?
I actually have not seen Crash.
Yeah.
Okay, because it's sounding like it might be a little bit. I'm gonna rewatch that one also.
The
just
racism
Yeah,
movie?
the one with Matt Dillon.
No, the
No,
Cronenberg one.
There's two movies called Crash.
I know.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate because the
Cronenberg
racism
one is better.
Yeah, you mean the Academy Award winning film Crash?
best picture.
No,
winner.
not the Academy Award winning one.
Sandra Bullock's arc is that she gains empathy.
It's like, oh, when his homies is gonna break in.
Dude, she says that. It's such a
And the whole movie's so over the top, like cartoonishly racist.
Her arc
people.
is legitimately that her like fucking like in-house cleaner falls down the stairs and she feels bad about it. That's like her arc in that movie. It's like wild.
I don't remember who it was. I think is it Bill Burr? That's like racism in like movies where they're like, yelling. They're like, get out of the pool or whatever. Like in real life, racism is quiet, man. Like, people say it under like their breath. They're like, it's like, yeah, I don't know, but it's Crash.
Crash is awful. That's like the worst fucking Best Picture one
It's
ever.
one of them.
I remember watching it when it first came out and just being like, whoa, this movie's crazy. But it was in 2004, so I was like 10. So like, whatever that's worth.
Speaking of movies that we thought were awesome when we were 10, the other movie that we watched this last weekend.
Oh,
Tropic Thunder.
Tropic Thunder is amazing.
Yeah, that movie's still great.
Yeah.
Written by Justin Theroux.
Complete opposite.
Are you serious? I didn't
Yeah,
know that.
it did. It was.
That's crazy. I never knew
It's like the
that.
complete opposite of Crash, though.
Yes.
Absolutely. It's making fun of movies like Crash
Yes.
in many ways, which is so great. Yeah.
Do you think it was in response?
No,
probably
not
not.
to Crash specifically.
No, that was a couple years later. I think it was just
More so than movies, I think it was making fun of actors, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's more so making fun of like how, actors get
How
sometimes.
egotistical.
Yeah, egotestical.
Egotistical.
Egotestical. That should be a punk rock band name. Egotesticles.
they're performing at the Forum in a couple weeks, I think.
Well, anything else you guys want to talk about?
Nope. Not for me, at least.
I'm cool.
Okay.
Fuck all of you.
Yeah, Eastern Promises. Let's go.
Should be fun.
I'm excited.
Yeah,
One
Viggo
la-
Mortensen's a shit.
One last fuck all of you from me. Watch Mr. Nobody, everybody. Don't
Yeah,
be
what
like
are your
these.
theories about Mr. Nobody? Did you like it? Did you not like it when it
Just
first
trying
came
to
out?
sound like the most generic YouTuber
I'm
of all
sure that-
time.
Comment below and let me know.
Slap that bell.
Did it make you cry in a bathroom?
No, I know there are people out there who have studied this film and like are really into it. So tell me how stupid I am for my takes. please.
Absolutely.
Look, this movie makes Cloud Atlas make sense in comparison. So
This film or Primer? Let us know. No, I'm serious. But like,
Primer
like,
is fucking awesome.
yeah, Primer's great. It's like there's multiverse movies that are out there. I think this one is definitely one of them. So,
Well, great to hear that. All right, bye.
bye.